Hey guys, when I was doing the editing on this thing, I realized it's like 30-some minutes long, so this is just going to be on the table, part 5 or 6 or whatever we're up to, part 1. So, basically this video here is on basically how I'm making display bases. And this is actually a display box, but you know, the same steps will apply. But like I say, this is just the start of that. I'll have another one up here, if not tonight, later on tomorrow. Thanks guys, we'll talk to you in a few here. Getting ready to upload. Thanks. Okay guys, this is actually step 2 of the process of making the base. As you can see, it's going to be rather large, but this is a mounted figure, so it's going to be showing a little bit more, but we're basically using the same tactics or tips or whatever for doing my normal bases and stuff like that. But this is, like I say, step 2. I lost step 1, which was basically all this corking. You see in here, this is all just cork, and it's got a base coat on it of the color I want for my water effect. What I've done, as you can see back here, I've taken the cork sheet, cut it to fit to where basically it comes up into the box a little bit. I've left some rock-like areas down along this one edge, and it'll come down into the water effect. And I did this by just simply layering cork and ripping it to get the texture so that it comes out. You know, see all these little textures back in here, and I just formed it into like what I wanted with for my water. Basically, I'll have a water effect starting here and coming down, dropping over into a pool, and pulling out into here. This area here will be covered in with my drywall spackle that I use, and we'll contour it and stuff into like a little heel type area. Not a major heel, but just a little raise coming down over into this little bank, into this water effect. And of course we'll have the green night basically coming down into the water effect, sort of like that. So you'll be centered into the case, so get a little idea of the direction that we're heading. I'll be right back. I want to do get the next step ready, which is I'll go through and highlight. Well, first I want to wash all this cork down with like a Devlin mud, just something to give it some shadow in all this recesses. And notice the cork still showing through my base coat here in a couple places, like here and stuff. The wash will fill those holes with wash, and when you dry brush or highlight the rock, it'll be shadowed, and you won't see the cork coming through. I'll be back in a second, and I'll show you what it looks like after that step. Be right back. Okay guys, here's the base after a little wash. One of the things I forgot to do whenever I redid this base was I forgot to stain the edge of the cork before I put it in. If I was you, when making one of these bases that's clear like this, to go ahead and stain this cork before you put it down into the plastic. If you had like on a miniature base, you're going to have a black ring, so it won't matter. But if you're doing something like this, you want to stain the cork before you put it in here to get that sort of like a dirt look. But so got the rock stained so that it's got nice little shadows in it and stuff. And when we come back, we'll have we'll do a highlight on the rocks here once this dries. And I know some of you like to know what people use to paints they're using or whatever. The base color was shadow gray over all the rock area, and also down in here where the deeper water is shadow gray. And then of course used and of course set it a wash, Devlin mud for the wash. Like I say, I washed, you know, basically the whole area down, all the rock area and the dirt area. Be right back, like I say, once this is done up, and we're going to put a first coat of highlight in, which I've already got pre-mixed up, but basically it's a grayish color. It's a gray, just my gray that I like, which is basically I think it's Badab stone with a little bit of white in it, I believe. I can't remember. This is still got 2 ounces of it left. Probably ought to write that down. But this is just the gray that I mixed up and like and have been using. So like I say, this will be the first highlight, goes over top of the stone, and then we'll come back in with an antique white that I also mixed up. It's I think this is maybe skull white with a little bit of just chestnut brown in it, I think. I'm not sure. This is another one I mixed up a while back and just don't remember my recipe. But that's my, well, in case you're wondering, I don't always use the, you know, big controversy of pots or droppers. Pots for some things, like say on the shadow gray, but if I gotta mix a color, I'll mix it into a dropper bottle so that I can paint it out that way. Basically, you guys been watching me for a while. Yeah, my highlight blue gray for my Marines. Yeah, another gray for my Marines. And then, like I say, starting off with shadow gray on the Marines. So, like I say, it just depends on what I use, but that's the paints I'm going to be using for this here. And of course, I've got a green for that'll be on at the end here, but that's just the paints that I'm using now. Just in case you're wondering, it was put on with an Army Painter monster brush. Used that on my washes. So that's what the wash went on with. Be back in a minute once this dries up, and we'll put on some highlights. Okay guys, as you can see here, I've got in the highlighting colors. I've shaded in some white and some grays to give my rock a little depth, color tone. Stretches all the way back. One of the things when you're doing your ice and water effects, guys, you want your base that the water is going to be setting on to show your colors, because most of your water effects will be clear. Of course, you can add to them if you've got the, if you get the recipe or something you like for adding to your colors, water effects, you know, tint them down to be a mud and stuff like that. But if you're going for a real clear, like water, like what I'm going for here, you need to add depth to it, because, like I say, it's not going to be, you know, 50 feet deep to show the blackness. Like you say, around like the water where I left in here for shading. Just want to shade the coastline down a little bit, and where the water's frothing off of this, I added white into the thing, just to bring it from a white, for the foam out into a more normal color. Same thing on the rocks. The white up in here will show when the water effects is going over it, like the starting of the little fast moving water. So you add a little extra into the edges and stuff like that around where you want the color difference. And same thing over here, it's just as highlight. These will all be underwater under the effect, but they'll still show the depth. Like say it'll be light up here where the light's coming through, shining on the rock through the water, coming down, showing the water getting deeper. Same effect up here. Like say up here the water is going to be thin, so it's reflecting more light, showing the froth coming down into the deeper, heavier water underneath. And like I say, I added some highlights on the rocks that'll be showing around the edge of the white of the drywall compound when I put in, and still it's getting shadowed where the water will be setting, like right into here. The water will be about that deep from here down, so you got light reflecting coming into dark. Okay, the next step I'll be showing you will be step 4 or 5 or something like that. Anyway, what we'll be doing is, now that we've got our paint in, we'll come back and start the drywall compound, which will be in this area here. Whoops, forgot a step. Back up, rewind. Okay, now that you've got your paint in, you've got the paint in here the way you want it, you're showing your depth and stuff. Okay, now what you got to do is seal this paint. So get your, whatever sealer you like using. I used to use a little store-bought sealer. I think it's made by Krylon. It's outside, but that's what I'll be using. And you'll seal this with your sealer. Whatever, like if you like a little sheen to it, got a little of a matte finish, satin finish, whatever your favorite type of sealer, go ahead and seal this paint so that you don't have to worry about why you're missing with the back part here, scratching up, you're knocking paint off. So go ahead and seal all this paint area in. So I'm going to go do that. This will be sealed next time we come up, and so you can see it's sealed, and then we'll be putting in the drywall spackle back here. So I'll be back. Just don't want you. What I'll do, I'll go ahead and add in a little base in here to sort of fill this area up, because it's going to take a little bit of drywall to fill this up. So I'll go ahead and get this started, and next time I come in, this will be sealed with my sealer, and we'll have a base of drywall compound in here to get ready to start putting in the final drywall spackle. And I'll show you how to place the how to set miniatures in and stuff like that. Once again, guys, this is just the way I do this. Know several of you have asked, so this is my technique for doing it. If you see something here you like, feel free to jump in and make it your own. But this is my steps. So we'll be back once I get this sealed and this spackle in. We'll be right back.